This computer. Okay. All right. So today I have a wonderful guest. I'm really excited. Alexandra Roxo. We know each other for so many years through. So originally, I was actually just a fan of your incredible web series, Be Here Nowish, which where can people even watch that now?
The first season is still on YouTube, and the second season we had on Vimeo on demand when that was like a thing for a hot minute.
Yeah.
If you want to watch the second season, you can hit me up and I can give you a code, or I can give a code to whoever is watching now because
Okay.
I personally think the second season is really dope. Like, we make beautiful satire from orgasmic meditation,
So good.
Kundalini yoga. I think the first season was where there was the couples colonic and the ayahuasca. But anyway, it's like just a really satirical look at spirituality that
It's
was
so
before
good.
its
It was so before its time. I mean, it's literally like when I think about the show that I had with FX for 4 years, it's like kind of a version of that
Yeah.
with
But
like
nobody ever made it. Like, it's a bummer that it's like, is it still too niche? But like,
they won't touch it.
yeah. But shows have peppered in spiritual things and
Yes.
like ayahuasca ceremonies or shamanism or something, but it's always like just peppered in. Nothing, there hasn't been a show that kind of shows the culture at large,
Because no
right?
one says yes. No one will say yes to me. I'm
I
just like,
know.
why did you pay me all this money to just like put me on
Oh
the
my
show?
gosh.
But it's
Yeah.
also it's because they sorry, we'll get back to like who you are in a
Yeah.
second, just diving right in, but like the networks at large view like wellness and spirituality as like niche. And the
Right.
argument that I'm constantly making is like, how is a industry that's like $7 trillion niche? Like make it make sense.
Right.
Clearly
Right.
it's not. Like it's making more money than
Right.
other huge industries. So like it's just that you guys aren't a part of that because you're in like
Old
hospital
paradigm.
system and all
Yeah,
you guys
totally.
want to do is make remakes of things that have been made 14 times
Right.
or give Taylor Sheridan a new show. Like I don't, you know what I mean? Like there's just such little desire to innovate in that space right now, which is also why people are going to like YouTube and new mediums and other things because and that is also why you were ahead of your time because you just fucking did it yourself, which was
I'm
so
so glad we did. We had so much fun. It was so much fun. It wasn't sustainable as a, financially sustaining business.
yeah.
And we definitely like raised a bunch of people's money that maybe will never get paid back.
Yeah.
But I so appreciate you people
That's okay. That's what it
who
is.
paid for all of my art in my 20s and that part of
I mean,
30s.
that's what patronage was. That's what it should be. I mean, artists aren't meant to be the ones who like put the money up for their own projects. It's not the way it goes.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
anyways, you've evolved so much over the years. You have written two books, which is fucking insane. You have your book Fuck Like a Goddess and Dare to Feel. And you've just been on this like very beautiful and I just love the way you share and aren't afraid to just be open with your evolution of embodiment, sexuality, relational coaching, all the things. Like you've really walked the path and now you're sharing that path with others.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's a cool journey to witness.
Thank you. I mean, it's like I could have just made art about how funny the path is and
Mhm.
how random it is, and like how I would have had a blast just doing that.
Yeah.
Almost like I had this moment where I'm like, oh, I'm actually gonna do a different path, which is to help people in an earnest way
Yeah.
to work through deep things and to transform and to find the love they want, the sex they want, etc., instead of just poking fun at the path and like having fun about it, which one's not better than the other. I mean, one is more glamorous than the other for sure. Like when when we were like pitching that as a TV show and hanging out in all the scenes and everything, it was a particular energy. But then when I was like, oh shit, no, I have to go into my own healing journey, my Saturn's return. I have to look at my own attachment wounding. I have to look at why I'm attracting the same type of partner. And like, I want to have a family and I want to go past my habits around my sexuality and escaping and blah, 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 blah. All of that. It's almost like, oh, okay, that it feels like a bit of a different journey and a harder journey in a sense because it's I'm not just standing on the sidelines looking at my kind of wellness culture and going, ha ha ha, I'm, having my green juice and I do an occasional ayahuasca ceremony. It was like, no, I'm in the heart of the process.
Yeah.
I'm going, wow, this is really hard. I keep closing my heart. I keep pushing love away. I keep using sex as an escape. I keep using drugs as an escape. Whatever it is, right? And yeah, so I think when I switched from the acting, filmmaking into that journey, I think it was, I mean, I guess over a decade ago, which is kind of crazy. Um, it catapulted me, and it was like the universe was like, for lack of better words, which, life will say, it was very supportive immediately when I made that crossover into working and coaching and wellness and supporting women. It was like, I got written about in the New York Times. I get a book deal. I was like, okay, I guess this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Because I pitched 2 TV shows and I sat with all the executives and they didn't get bought. So I guess that's not what I was supposed to be doing. you know?
Yeah, I mean, I relate to that so much. I think that I walk that line myself as far as like being hyper aware of the comedy of all of it all the time. And then also being like what you're saying, like if you're constantly always commenting on it, there is something that's preventing you from dropping in and embodying it.
Yeah.
And I think I kind of got like, even though at the time I wouldn't see this as lucky, which is like exiled from my my life, like I do view what happened to me with the podcast and everything as kind of an exile because it really deeply wounded my ability to continue to just like be in front of everything. I had to go inward and really confront, especially my like codependency and my unwillingness to be unliked and to have friction in my life and all these different things, which then losing my mom obviously is like a complete reset, but all of it did the exact same thing that you're saying, which is lead me to my own heart and being like, okay, there's things internally that I'm holding this like gate around my own self with myself, even though I think that I know myself so well and I think that I'm so embodied, I'm actually living in this like strange disconnect. And
Mm,
when you do that, there is this moment. I mean, I think I'm on the other side now where it can kind of be funny again. But there's like a lot of moments in that where you're like, I don't actually have the ability, bandwidth, or desire to comment on this. I
yeah.
just want to like earnestly, authentically, sort of like sadly like live this for a while until and to open your heart and to call in like the partners that we called in and all of these things like yeah, it requires like deep inner vulnerability that you can't
Yeah.
have if you're constantly joking about it and self-deprecating and kind of thinking you get it. Like it's very interesting the difference between like your mind being like, yeah, 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 like I get it, and then your heart being like, I so deeply like want to love and connection.
Yeah.
It's a very scary
Yeah.
place to shift into. And I think, I still know like a lot of single women who like I just put my pregnancy on Instagram because I was kind of like, it's weird. I love being secretive because I'm a Scorpio. So I love like having information that nobody else has like about me.
You guys make fucking crazy about you guys. I'm a Pisces, and I'm like, can we just be open? Can we just put it out there? Anyway, keep
No,
going. Keep
I'm jealous that you're like that. Like I hate that I'm like this because it keeps me in like a prison. So I'm trying to be more open,
Okay,
but
so you did good. You put your pregnancy on Instagram, which is also very intense because like it brings up a lot for a lot of people.
exactly. So I was getting all these messages from people who are in their early 40s being like, like you're so blessed and I still hope to do that one day. And then like of course I respond, as my assistant says, I'm really popular in the DM. She's like your like followers do not reflect how many people message you and like that you respond to. I'm like, if I could turn a business into giving people advice in DMs, I would be a fucking gajillionaire.
I know. And it's funny because then sometimes no one comments on a post, but I'm like, but then you guys DM me about it. Could you just
Literally.
publicly comment so I just feel a little bit more special?
Literally. So the algorithm rewards me. Like, can I get some
Exactly.
like public love? But anyway,
Yeah.
this one person in particular that I know personally, then she started talking about how she's back with her ex after like 4 times. And I'm just like, really was empathizing with the struggle that she's in to get to that place within herself where she can welcome the thing, which is probably where like you would come in as a coach to like actually like unwind it.
Yeah, I really love supporting women in that way. Yeah. But yeah,
It's just, I'm like, yeah, I get it. Like, you want to get to the family, but you have to get through yourself first. And the people that I feel like don't and end up doing the family thing, just either barreling through the inner blocks, or I don't want to say settling, but picking the wrong person or whatever it is, like, that is a very difficult journey to go on.
yeah. Well, it's funny because when we weren't in contact for like, because our lives or whatever, it wasn't intentional. I was on That's a Retrograde twice, I feel
Right.
like, and then, just life. But when I can't remember how we reconnected, and when you were like, I'm pregnant or I met a guy or whatever, I was just like, I remember being like, fuck yes, because and this is a little bit maybe judgy, but like, I wondered if you were going to be one of those kind of cool girls that kept dating the perpetual unavailable
Yeah.
comedian, whatever it was, just like unavailable hot guys, whatever it was. And I
Ugh,
wondered if
what
that
a
was
life.
a life. And I knew because I had been there myself. And
Yeah.
I just remember feeling this very like big happiness in my heart that you had
Yeah.
made it to the other side like I
Turns
did.
out you can get an available Hawkeye, which is the best thing.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
It's
Yeah.
the best thing.
Totally. And kind,
Yeah.
kind. And he's very earnest, right? Like he doesn't have that cool kid comedian mask of so many of the, guys that I know in LA, or the actor mask or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but I just know so many women who haven't made it through that, who I did like a free class a few months ago that I just needed to like yell at women for a minute and just say, like, eventually you're gonna have to choose love if you want it. You're going to have to get through all of the barbed wire and the impossible Olympian tasks that you have put for any potential partner, which usually is like our own internalized projection, perfectionism that we project onto someone else, but which is actually just a way we push away love, or like perhaps in your scenario, I'm not sure. I'm sure there were many different ones, but it's like choosing the person who isn't easy, like they're not going to choose me back. And so I get to keep not being chosen.
Well, that
And they're,
like addictive, toxic kind of
yes,
feeling, it is what I realized is a reflection of my inner feeling of unworthiness. That
uh-huh.
when someone's unavailable, it validates that I'm not worthy.
Right.
And
And you
so,
kind of just go back and sulk and like
yeah,
smoke pot and stare into the sunset or whatever your thing is. We all have our things, right?
witty.
Um, and yeah, that kind of thing inside gets validated. See, I knew it, blah, blah, blah. Like I knew it, but this is who I am, and that's fine. And it's like, no, this is not who we are. That's a part of us that is likely because of our childhood and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, I have so much, especially when you bring the family thing in, because I know there's so many women who it's like we were all sold this collective lie that we should really focus. I mean, I'm calling it that, but it doesn't have to be that universally. But in my opinion, this lie that we have to do our careers first
Yep.
and then we can always do family later. And that is a lie because we do have a biological clock. We do have something inside of everybody's different. Some women get pregnant when they're 47. Some women can't when they're 36. It's like we just have no idea
Yeah.
what's going to happen for us. And it makes me really sad that this kind of feminism that we were a part of was like, go do your career, go do it. It's so important. And that a lot of women then, and I was right on the edge of this, are like 37, 38, 39, 40, and are like, but wait, now I want to have a partner and I want to have a family. And I am so used to being alone. I have prioritized my career first. And so I don't even really have a lot of space for a partner and a family. And I have to contend with, is my body still available for it? And what does that look like for me? And that's the part that, I feel sad about for all of my sisters who, maybe kicked fucking ass at their careers and they're now 42, 43, 44, and they're like, oh, wait, I haven't met the person yet.
Yep. And it is a lie. I don't even think that's like opinion based. It's
Yeah.
factual. Like, you, yes, is it more challenging on some level to work, have a career, and be a parent? Like, of course, like you have to balance more. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's also like more rewarding on every level. Because for me, like, and I always tell Tyler this, it's okay. Yeah, you can do it. Yeah. I always tell Tyler this. I'm like, before when I was only chasing my career and then I would come home, I would be like incredibly sad.
Yeah.
It was always just me by myself and I was just alone constantly. And like, even though I'm very independent, I'm not a loner. And
No, we all need connection.
so it's like, yeah, it's harder
Like
with
us
girls.
artists and people that put ourselves out in the public, we need more validation. At the end of the night, we need someone to be like, "Good job, baby."
Yeah, or just someone to like cuddle or like talk to or like anything,
Baby.
you know?
Anything.
And I also know like my own astrology so deeply that like, and this has been told to me like many times recently, where it's like it's very interesting, kind of like this weird period of time where I was so like in the underworld and it was all like Scorpio progressed moon, like it was very like I was just in this like full underworld transformation. But the actual part of my chart is like I have a Cancer moon and I have a Capricorn midheaven, which is like your career becomes elevated through motherhood.
Hmm.
And so
That's
they're like they work together. And I'm not saying everyone is like that, but for me personally, that was such a personal, deep unwinding of the lie that was sold to me, where I was like, I did feel like once I have this in my career, then I can like step aside and be a mom. And it's like, no, what the universe wants from you is to like be integrated,
right.
do both.
Yeah.
And is it a hard thing? Of course it's a hard thing, but like we can do hard things, you know, like it's not, I think we also live in this world where we're kind of like we like baby ourselves.
Yeah.
We infantilize our ability to step into like a place of power and multitasking. Like I have this painting that was my mom's that I really actually wanted to be the background of this, but I just can't function, get things done right now. But it's basically a woman holding up like the world. And
Hmm.
that really is kind of like the image I have in my mind. And then there's like a little dog over here and like a little teacup where it's just like everything is just surrounding her ability to hold the world up. And I feel like we just need to empower ourselves more to be able to do that both internally and externally. And you know, when I say internally, I mean like the work that you're talking about and the things that got you to where you are and that got me to where I am is like it is a hard thing to do to confront yourself.
I know. Yeah. And to be
It's
real with yourself.
it's fucking painful and it's embarrassing and it's uncomfortable
Yeah.
and it's vulnerable and you have to change your behavior and all of the things.
Yeah.
But then on the other side, and it's not like, you know, I caution to give this advice because I feel like it's also what I hate about like the world of manifesting where it's like, well, if you do all this, you're guaranteed to like get something. But like getting something is not the goal. What
Right.
you're getting is yourself,
Yeah.
your true self.
Yeah. And from that, that's you can choose,
Yeah.
and I feel like you can't really choose the type of love or relationship or career or whatever, if you haven't done that deeper inner work.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard. I mean, it's not hard for everybody, I guess. Everybody has their own journey, but there is some crucible, there is some work that is done
Yeah.
to come into consciousness with our own patterns and yeah, and then to create the life that we want to live. But I love that image of the woman holding up the world. And I do think that yeah, it's like what you're doing, what I'm doing is like trying to hold down a career while not just kind of putting our kids to the side all the time, right? And obviously everybody has their own circumstances. Some women don't have a choice, like they have to put their kids fully aside to work. But I like this idea, and I think that you and I are both living into is like, can I spend time with my child and also still do my work, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, like I feel like I'm obviously sometimes like last week I had to go to a job for 2 days straight for like 12 hours and I couldn't be like organizing my life
Right.
around him.
Right.
But for the most part, I put my time with him at the forefront of how I build everything else, as opposed to putting what I build at the forefront and then having him be like an afterthought.
Yeah.
And I think that's I was just talking with Carson about this, how in a post-COVID reality where so many people have the opportunity to work from home and also work, it's kind of like our generation gets this ability to kind of have it all in that sense if you can do more work from home because then you get to be a full-time parent and a full-time worker.
Yeah.
Even just like
Oh yeah,
going,
that sounds like a party.
it's just like more is more, you
I
know?
love it. No, I don't want to be a full time. I mean, oh, but see, that's the other curse that can happen is like, okay, now we just have to do it all and do it all the time. And I don't want to live that reality either, right? Like, I don't want to be like, okay, now I can be a full-time worker, a full-time mom, a full-time cook, a full-time cleaner. Like,
Well, when I say full-time, I mean like 5 hours a day.
no, yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, and I think that's
I
the
don't
thing.
mean 12 hours a day.
Yeah, having a good partner, she is having a good babysitter who
Yeah.
supports, right? Like having the things in place so that you aren't just having to go balls to the wall on both. And you're not either sacrificing your kid or sacrificing your career. And obviously, this is like through a very privileged lens in a way to be able to choose. Some people do not have the ability to
Yeah,
choose.
100%.
Um, and there's this Dr. Erica Commissar. Have you read her book? Have you heard of her?
Mm-mm.
I forgot the name of her book, but she talks about like instead of what if you change your lifestyle for the
Yeah.
first few years of having a kid? So it's like, and maybe you move in with family members so that they can help take care. Maybe you like move into a smaller place. Maybe you don't take vacations. It doesn't have to be either or. Like you're either privileged and you can hire a nanny and you can hire, a cleaner or whatever, or you're just working all the time overtime. Like there are other options, and I just think that that's just a part of our society that we just don't really consider as much. Like, ooh, what if I downscaled for a few years so that I could spend more time with my kid, which is time that I can't get back, right? Versus trying to like rat race to make the same amount of money working less or whatever. It's stressful.
Well, it's like you're kind of speaking into something that I try to express often, which is like the truth, no matter what your circumstance is. It's a universal truth. We are all creators. We are all co-manifesting and individually manifesting reality. And so if you change the way that you view things, even if it's from the sense of like, oh, this is so hard, or I'm so overwhelmed, like when you feel this sense of like overwhelm and entrapment in your mind, that is what ends up getting created. Whereas if you change your mind and you see opportunity to like shift things, right? Like you're saying, it's not like I can shift things and manifest $1 million. No, but like, where is my support? Where are my moments where I can do this instead of that? And really thinking of like life as the creative act, like the energy will move around you. That's just the truth. It's like, it's when we get beaten down and when we get, and look, every force in our world is trying to make us stupid and sad.
Yeah.
From the food that we eat to the air that we breathe to the water that we drink, all of these things are there that are creating like literal like calcification in our fucking creator ability. It's like they want us, and this sounds so conspiratorial and so crazy. So like if you're not on this page, like you might want to turn this episode off. But like it's true. Like the Matrix wants you to stay trapped. And like our ability to create outside of that is very real and that is known. So it's like you have to fight that power to
Yeah.
create the reality that doesn't make you feel like you have to be crushed by your circumstance, no
Yeah.
matter the circumstance.
Yeah, and that's what it is. It takes getting outside of the box, whatever the box is that you consider around money, around work, around home, around family, any of those things where there's like a dominant paradigm that's keeping you locked in. Oh, I have to work these kind of hours, or oh, I have to live in this kind of a way, and getting creative. Like a friend of mine in LA, we actually met at an intro to orgasmic meditation workshop.
Right.
So one Taste is this organization, for those of you who don't know, who teaches orgasmic meditation, and the founder is potentially going to be spending a long time in prison.
Yeah, like I was just gonna say, is this still happening?
It's still happening, yeah. I think
Um,
I think that she's going to be in prison.
Wait,
She's
for what?
where they're calling it like sex trafficking or something, or like I don't know. It feels like a bit of a witch hunty kind of a thing. Anyway, I don't know the ins and outs. I watched the documentary. I went to a few workshops, but well, I went to the one free workshop actually, and then they tried to like sell me into all the other ones. So I was like, no, 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 I got what I needed.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was at this workshop in LA. I drove to this, weird little warehouse somewhere on a Sunday morning to, do orgasmic meditation with strangers. I didn't know like if I was going to do it or whatever. I was also in a very sexually experimental phase. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go do this thing. It's kind of naughty, but it's also spiritual. Cool. And that was a part of that phase of my life. And
Yeah.
I matured past that. Thank you. But I sat next to a woman in that workshop who was like a crone elder, red hair, actually Irish. I didn't know that. She doesn't have an accent. Anyway, we became friends, and she started this organization called Co-Abode that matches up single moms with other single moms for shared housing. And
Oh
she
wow.
made this like, I don't know, she must have created this like, I don't know, over a decade ago. Maybe it was even two decades ago because she was a single mom and she was like, this is not sustainable for me to try to pay my own rent and take care of my son and childcare, da da da. Why don't I try to find another single mom and we can do co-housing, you know?
Brilliant.
And so it's just those kind of things that get you outside of the box of what is, available, like cultures who actually live with their families.
Ugh, I wish we were in that world.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't because like I do not.
But like
Like,
even my like weird relationship with my dad where he's kind of like I love him but he's like sort of his funny little narcissistic self. Like he was here the other day watching Asher and I was like, "Cool, I can like go to the gym." Like
that's nice.
like it's not like he's like super engaged, like he's not as amazing as like my nanny, but it's like he's an adult who can be
Yeah,
here and they're bonding and it's family and it's like I think we just lose something when even if we have complicated relationships with our family, we lose something in that like our kids aren't going to have the same relationship to like their grandparents that like we did.
right. I know.
Or like my dad grew up like literally where his entire family lived within like a 2 block radius with like, his mother had 6 siblings and everyone was around and it's just like maybe I romanticize it and maybe what you're saying is true or we would just be like, "Oh my God, like get me out of the way of these
Well,
fucking
it's
people."
both. It's both. I mean, I think those of us who have done the healing work and the, stopping of the patterns of addiction or abuse or whatever, like that's awesome. That's essential. Maybe it does take a few generations that really need to distance themselves from the patterns in order to create something new. I'm not sure. Like looking at it kind of in a bigger, more astrological thing, it's like if you're in a family system that has certain elements that are really unwell, like how do you
Right.
right things? Like you might have to actually exit. Um,
True.
but that being said, there are cultures where that people don't do that and it's not an option. Do those patterns of abuse, trauma, addictions, etc., just keep going? I don't know. We'd have to ask somebody who has stayed in the family system, and not kind of created some distance. Is it a millennial American kind of a thing to be like, go off, like leave your family?
Yeah.
Are the Gen Zs staying closer to their parents?
I don't know, but what I will say is if my kids think they're getting away from me, they've got another thing coming.
I know, I know. I was like, where can we live, Eli? That she'll want to stay. I'm like, let's move to Paris. She'll definitely want to.
Yeah, like we have to live in the coolest place on earth to like make sure they never leave us.
But what I have actually seen, because now we live in Boulder, Colorado, which I
Yeah.
never thought I would live here after living in New York and LA most of my adult life. But I have seen that a lot of people's kids come back or they are really stoked to be back here in the summers and in
Yeah.
the holidays because there's so much beauty and nature and it's very safe Anyway, so let's see. Let's see what my daughter wants to do. I'll just
We've got
follow.
some time before we have to like fully separate. I mean, I have trouble separating from him like when he goes with his nanny. So like I can't imagine what it's gonna be like when he like drives off. I'm gonna be like,
I know. Yeah, totally.
but
Totally.
luckily there's many, many years in between now and then. Um,
Yeah.
something that you and I like, so our friendship has really blossomed through like the art of the voice note.
Long distance love. I mean, it's so funny. I told
Love
Eli,
it.
last night, I was like, if only I was in LA, I would have so many, like
Like
mom
friends.
friends. Anyway, go ahead. I have real friends. Okay.
Blink twice if you're not okay. But I think it's just we're both, doing so much and managing motherhood at the same time. And like I think where we really relate is that both of us were so, and this is what we were just talking about, is like both of us were so like, this is kind of a lame way to say it, but like self-care. Like that was like our journey. Like we're on this healing journey. We're taking care of ourselves. We're exploring orgasmic meditation. We're doing breath work, whatever it is. We're doing it all. Although I never did orgasmic meditation because it was just like too weird for me. Like the stranger danger aspect of it, I was just like,
Definitely. You have to be sort of kinky if you want to drop your pants restriction. But anyway, keep going. We
I
won't
remember
go
I had a crush
there.
on a guy who like I was like trying to hit on, and then he was like offered to like own like me and Elizabeth at the same time, and
What?
I was actually just trying to like have like fuck you, but like okay. And I was like, no, we're good.
Very LA, by the
It
way.
was so weird. I was like the
With the
audacity.
clit
Yeah,
stroke.
like the double twiddle, like what? Like I'm not doing that. It's not that I'm like not like highly sexual. That just like never that type of stuff never has
Yeah,
appealed to
but I can't really see you and Elizabeth being in a threesome context.
me.
Oh,
No.
was that an eye roll like you did have a threesome?
No, like that's so would be so
I
weird.
can't see that. I couldn't imagine that. So
No
anyway,
way.
okay, let's
No way.
talk. Okay.
That was never like a part of the dynamic. Anyways, back to what I was saying. And then going from being, even though we like wanted family, and I mean my journey to motherhood obviously was like very abrupt and unplanned, but I'm extremely happy that it happened. And it was, even though I say it was unplanned, it was like definitely manifested because I knew for like the 2 years prior that I was preparing myself for the next phase of life of like having lost my mom. I knew that I was going from like identifying from as like a daughter in that family from like my family of origin. I knew that I was moving into like the family that I create. So all of my actions, specifically with dating, like I'd been like celibate for a year. Like I was very much like I'm just reorienting my entire energetic system towards this future that I see but don't have.
Mhm.
But still, I was very me all the time centric. And then, you have a kid and it's like, we were just talking before we started the recording, like neither of us have like brushed our hair in a week. It's like, it's a very abrupt shift. And so I'm curious kind of for you to talk about how you relate to that space inside yourself that still needs to cultivate that relationship. And for me, it's like quick moments of connection that I have there. Like even before I started recording, I did like, five fucking cat cows and a downward dog. And I'm like, we're good. Like it's just stuff like that. So I kind of want to hear like your version of cultivating time where you're also a human inside of mothering, partnering, working. Like it's a lot to juggle.
Yeah, it is. It's funny because I did a similar thing right before. I was like, okay, Eli's on a work call. I'm gonna have 20 minutes to get ready. I need to go upstairs, put makeup on, and I also feel so fucking tired because I don't know why my daughter's been like kind of a lot in the last few nights at night. So I
Growing.
was like, okay, we need to put on some music. We need to shake. We need to make sound. We need to breathe. We need to stretch for 2 minutes, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And then that's it. And like I was planning on washing my hair, it didn't happen, so it's like those moments are small. One thing that's really important that I've noticed is leaving the house.
I was just talking about this with Carson.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. So like even if I just get in the car and go to the grocery store for 5 minutes, 10 minutes
Yep.
alone, I'm like, oh my God, I can just fully relax. Like that
Yep.
there's a vigilance inside our bodies and nervous systems that mine softens when Eli's attention is fully on our daughter. But if we're both in the same room, I notice I still am in it. I'm still like watching. Is she gonna fall? Is she gonna? But it's like just getting in the car and driving for 5 minutes, going to get a coffee. I'll then like get some creativity that will flow through me. For me, like one of the things that maybe is similar to you is I'm a writer and I also work with people one on one and in groups, and that is more structured in my schedule. It's like I have a client session, I'm leading a class, like it's in my schedule. My partner's
Yeah.
gonna have her. But when's the space for all of the creativity that I used to be in an all day romance with?
Literally like the journal relationship.
Totally just inside myself. I'd be like driving into Panga, pull the car over, just like needing to write something. And so that piece, it's like I miss that. And that happens when I drive to a Pilates class.
Yep.
I go to the grocery store and then I sit in the car for 5 minutes as I'm leaving. Like those little in-betweens that like I have to catch.
Yep.
Also early mornings. And it's like if I wake up too close to when Lua wakes up, then she'll wake up with me and she'll notice I'm leaving because we co-sleep.
Yeah.
So I have to wake up like this morning. It's like Eli woke up at 4:45 because he wanted to go to the gym. And
Wow.
then I woke up at 5:45. And I tried to wake up before the alarm because I was worried it was going to wake her up. So I was kind of not really asleep between 4:45 and 5:45. Then at 5:45, I like sneak out of bed, so quiet so that I could do an hour of writing with a friend of mine on Zoom. And it's like that takes a lot of fucking effort to get that 1 hour to write. And
Yep.
anyway, so there's that kind of stuff that's like the whole conversation with the partner of like we need to negotiate so I can have a whole hour to myself or whatever. But I think it's those little in-betweens. I mean, I feel like we hide in the bathroom sometimes. Do you?
I'm like on the toilet, just like not doing anything but sitting on the toilet.
Totally. Hiding, right? Like just a mini hide. It's a break. It's a
Yeah.
timeout.
Just, but
Like,
then Asher is obsessed with me and like bangs on the bathroom
oh
door. And he's
yes, same,
like, Mama, mama, mama,
same.
mama. I'm like, I'm shitting
I know, but it doesn't matter. It's like then she wants to come sit on my
on
lap
my
and nurse
lap.
while I'm pooping. And I'm like, oh my God. And then it's like, I just like wish sometimes that the men would be it's like there's no way for them to know. I don't know if you ever saw those kind of videos where the men are like wearing a watermelon and like trying to feel what it's
Oh
like.
yeah.
I wish that like there was a way for them to understand. I'm like, imagine somebody's just like pinching your balls all day or something like.
Yeah, I'm like, you just have to like separate, just like separate. I'm just like, you separate, like I'm like, it's just different, like for me and you. Like he loves Tyler and he's so attached to him, but just with me, he's just different.
Are you still nursing?
No, thank God. I stopped because I got pregnant.
Yeah, okay. And did you choose to stop or the milk just stopped?
I chose to stop. My milk,
Okay.
I don't think would ever have dried up. For some reason, I'm like a fucking milk factory. It's the craziest like plot twist of my reality that I'm like fertile milk mama. Like it's just not what I saw for myself at all. It's not how I identify. I identify as a dry slut. No.
Mm.
It was so painful. That's honestly one of the symptoms of how I knew I was pregnant is I was like all of a sudden nursing was not painful for me at all. I mean, occasionally he would bite me, but it was like it didn't bother me and I actually really enjoyed it. And then all of a sudden, it was like his teeth were made of fucking knives. It hurt
Really?
so
Oh.
much. And every time he nursed, I was like, like I was felt like I was traumatized. I was
Oh.
like wincing and like drama. So I was like, I have to wean him. Like
Wow. I didn't even know that was a thing that can happen when you're pregnant.
well, think about it, your nipples get really sensitive.
That's true.
Like I remember when I was pregnant with him, my nipples being sore was like another, it was like that was my first sign. But we went 16 months and then it was like 2 days of like us both crying. Like I was actually more okay. See why is this doing this? Why did it just aggressively it like zoomed out for effect? It was
Perfect. Because you're
both
like, I was
crying.
trying. I was trying.
You're a
Yeah.
really intense narrative storyteller. So I cried so much. I was like so sad to stop.
Yeah.
But then because I was like, it's gonna change our bond, like it just It felt like just such an end of this like beautiful chapter of our lives. But now that I'm done, I'm like so happy.
Have a break because you're gonna do it again.
Exactly. And like getting the life sucked out of me from my tits and my uterus was like, I couldn't. I just couldn't. I was like, it's just not right. So
Yeah,
he's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
fine.
You
Wait,
can't eat
are
enough
you
to
still on it? Are
replenish. What?
you still on it?
Oh, yeah, we're still doing it.
Yeah.
And I just thought maybe she would a friend of mine was like, okay, she's a Scorpio, but she's an Aries moon. You might feel sad. Like she might kind of like be super independent and like push you away and blah, blah, blah. So far, no.
Yeah.
So far, we are like, she just wants to be close a lot. And yeah, I'm okay with the nursing still. And there are moments that I'm like, oh, maybe that like the nighttime. There's moments where I'm like, okay, this is too much. And I have friends that have done the night weaning.
I
But then
did night wean him before any of this
you did.
because I
But
wasn't
be
sleeping.
like nights where she doesn't nurse. And then I'm like, oh, do I even need to go through it?
Right.
I'm taking my first night away from her in like a week and a
Wow.
half and we'll see what happens, you
Yeah.
know.
You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it so much.
I'm afraid that she's gonna freak out because she's really used to having the booby.
I mean, she probably will, but that's kind of part of the process. And as long as Eli's there to comfort her and she's not like just hung out to dry, it's like that sort of,
Yeah,
it's like that transition is necessary.
I know.
And,
Anyway,
but I wanted to go till he was two. Like I was right there with you. I was like ready to
yeah,
continue on, but it just was so impossible. And
yeah.
it hasn't changed our bond. That's the other beautiful thing is like he still wants to be close. He still wants to be on me. He still grabs my boobs and twiddles them and like tries to bite
Oh,
them.
I'm
But
so like you're not allowed to twiddle or touch. But
when he wants to go to bed and he's being like not agreeable, I'm just like this.
oh my gosh,
I let him
same.
put his
That's
hand
what
in
but
his like face.
I just do it with like the just nursing, and that's been so nice to have that. And Eli's like, it's like, wow, that's something that I can't do. I can't soothe her in that
Yeah.
kind of way. Um, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how long, and we'll see if it happens naturally or if I need to push it, you
Yeah,
know.
some kids just like get over it. Like my friend's son, he just one day was like done.
That's what my mom said I was.
Yeah. So cut to your daughter being like 7 years old, and you're like, when is she gonna be done?
I don't think so. I mean, I
No.
think already she's big. She's like, been big. She's been big for her age the whole time. And people look at me like, there's a small child pulling your breast out. I'm like, she's not even two. Don't judge me yet. But.
Isn't it so funny how like I being in public and breastfeeding is like I had no shame about having my boobs out, and they didn't even feel like my boobs.
They don't either anymore. But at first I did. I felt so nervous. My dad came to visit and I was like, had all the cover and da 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 da.
Yeah.
And in front of like some male friends of ours too. I felt like, okay, I need to like go nurse in the other room. And then I was like, forget it.
Like this
No.
is so much fucking work. I'm just gonna pull this thing out. Whatever.
But also my breasts aren't super large. And I remember a
Yeah.
really good friend of mine has very large breasts. So when she was nursing her kid, every time it was like this double D breast coming out. And it felt, I remember, and I'm kind of admitting this and I feel a bit ashamed, but it felt uncomfortable for me to watch
Yeah.
for some reason. I felt uncomfortable watching her nurse and kind of just flop a big breast out. And, that was my own internalized patriarchy, internalized body
Totally.
shame. And so sometimes I do wonder when I'm nursing, are the women around me who haven't done this feeling that kind of ick or that kind of,
Definitely.
yeah, shit.
No, they definitely are, but I just don't care. But it is a thing.
Yeah.
When I was in
Yeah.
North Carolina, I was breastfeeding him on a bench, and some old lady came up to me out of nowhere. She's like, "Oh, honey, it's all right. We have a girl in our church group that does that." And I just was like, "Did I look like I needed you to tell me that it was okay?" Like it was, I was just
Okay, a nurse? Whoa.
yeah, because I was just like on the street, like on a park
Right.
bench, basically, just like nursing him. And I mean, I was in the South, so obviously it's like way less, like loose. Like that's definitely one thing that I really realized from driving around the country and just living in different places for months at a time. Like I'm so California sized, like the nudity that I live inside of.
Yeah,
is so not like what the East Coast is.
right. Yeah. Colorado's pretty progressive in that way. I don't think people care very much here. And it was nice when we were in Denmark this summer. I felt the same thing. Like people didn't care that I was nursing or they weren't looking. But I don't know. Sometimes I do cover it up just because I don't want to be stared at or
Yeah.
whatever. But at this point, her head is so big. It's like you can't really see my boob, you know? And but I can kind of just put her like this and it's like, yeah, she covers it.
You're like, because she's 11. No.
Not even two people,
Have you
okay?
ever seen that video? It's like an old grainy YouTube video of these like British girls, and they're living like some weird like little house on the prairie in like the British countryside lifestyle, and they're like 8 and 10 years old, and they're both still nursing. I
No.
mean, one of the girls is so big that her mom's sitting on the couch and her whole body nursing is taking up the couch.
I feel creepy feelings in my body hearing that.
It's very creepy, but like the greatest line of it, the little girl, the interviewer is like, "So what is it like to like still be nursing?" And she's like, "I love it. It's sweet. It's better than a mango even." And you're just like, "Oh my God, I've got to find this for you. You're gonna die. You're gonna be like, oh, I'm fine. I'm nursing my not yet 2 year old. Like everything's cool."
No, 20 years ago, I was a babysitter for an incredible woman, and I watched her have her daughter that was 5 still nurse just a little bit for comfort at night. And I remember being very uncomfortable, but quickly I was like, okay, she was like, oh, women and indigenous cultures and da 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 da. And she introduced me to so much around my sexuality and around getting outside of this patriarchal box of what it means to be a woman or a mother. And I'm grateful for that. I
Yeah.
don't see myself doing it till she's 5, but
I think that's just such a good point too, where it's like us not having shame around it, like collectively is what starts to move needles, right? Like
yeah,
if we keep internalizing our own shame and we keep doing things the same way that like old paradigm does stuff, then we're not going to change anything. But
yeah,
if we're brave and we try to do things our own way, or we do things that even make us a little bit uncomfortable or challenge other people, it's like the next time they see it, they're like, oh, maybe I guess that's like a thing now. Like women just like breastfeed publicly. That wasn't how it was when I was younger, but times
right.
have changed, and then we're just kicking the can down the road a bit of like,
Yeah, in so many ways, I
yeah,
think.
the feminine is rising.
Well, some would say rising is not like a phallus rises, but we actually go deep, like we root, we go down.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, this is not original for me. This is kind of more in the kind of depth psychology of like that the underworld myth of a woman kind of going down and through in order to gain her power.
Mm.
Climb to the mountaintop to gain her power. She's not like hiking Mount Everest. Instead, she descends into her body. She fully comes like from head all the way down through heart into womb, giving birth like you did so beautifully at home. Like that would be an experience of the descent into the body and how the feminine fully potentiates in that way. And so, there's funny camps of people that are like, the feminine does not rise, and then it's like, but yes, in some way we are rising, but that's again using even a patriarchal lens of languaging, saying that in order to be more powerful, we must rise or rise above others, which again is like it's a linear fashion rising where it's like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
we go down and in and we become more circular, then that's a return to something that's more feminine, where we're not trying to rise above other people and we're not trying to become a higher version of ourselves. That's just
Yeah.
also so Christian and like Abrahamic religion of escaping the body. The body is dirty, the body is unclean, sexuality is dirty, unclean. Funny thing is like that those religions still rule the planet. The religions that say the body is unclean, blood is unclean, birth is unclean, sex is unclean, and it's like that is still the paradigm of thought that we have mostly come from. But there was a time before that we, I think, lived another way, like where nursing or birthing and our relationship to our bodies wasn't deemed as something we need to rise above or ascend. from. So that's my school of thought, and I'm not the only one, but I think that there's just so much within each of us as women that can feel so liberated and relieved when we are not trying to like become better.
Hmm.
That's even like the wellness kind of paradigm languaging. It's that same thing disguised of like become cleaner, become better, become more pure. It's like, no, we're going to become more ourselves, which is shit, piss, blood, dancing, bucking, laughing, crying.
It's so, so, so true. I love that. I feel like you just gave me a complete, like, just both education and also like framework for like what I even just personally went through. Is it's like, yeah, I was raised by a woman who was like, rise above. Like, that was literally like her mantra, but that's because she had to be like that because she was born in 1948.
Yeah.
And that was the best use of the best way that she could describe inside of that time frame of like being a strong woman.
Of course. And they did a great job. Like our mothers and
But
grandmothers.
they didn't. I mean, they tried, but like I think what I saw happen with my mom is that I come from a line of women who were super powerful, super intelligent, and were constantly being stamped down by the men in their life, and they kept hitting a certain wall. And even like my like big shamanic medicine journey that I went on it because I was trying to integrate my grief, but what ended up coming was all the females from my lineage being like, you're the one that doesn't do that. You
Mm,
don't let a man get in your way of becoming the full expression of yourself. You find a man who helps you expand that vision for yourself. And like, so,
mhm.
but they tried to rise above, but what ended up happening with my mom is that she never integrated, and so she self-destructed because it was just so much fight with no integration.
Yeah.
And she could never open her heart to her own self.
Yeah.
In her death, that's what forced me to do that.
Oh, wow.
And that is really what sent me, like
Hmm.
you said, exactly how you're saying. It was a full descent and full transformation in descent that ended up becoming the biggest expansion of my life.
Yeah.
Instead of just like you're saying, which was what we were trying to do when we were younger, which is fight, compete, go harder, go faster, go further,
Yeah. Which
all of
is so addictive and so fun. And it's like the world praises you for it. It's sexy, but it's not sustainable. And it means we have to cut off so much of ourselves.
exactly.
Yeah.
To
And
circle
when
back to the
you think
beginning.
about the like the mothers and the grandmothers, I'm just feeling like, yeah, there were those of them who had like chose to fight and essentially probably pushed away love and like, had to, and then there were the ones that collapsed and
Yeah.
like kind of just like gave up all their dreams, gave everything to children, but then were resentful and codependent and enmeshed and blah blah blah. And it's like not really good options.
I know. And there's like so few that were able to make it through. But even you look at like, certain like feminist icons of that time, and like so many of them like never had children.
Right. Or they like married and divorced like 7 times because they're obviously like have a pattern, you know, with relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we're really lucky to be here at this time and have this certain energy available to us to be able to at least try to walk the path of integration as best we can.
Yeah.
This camera is like,
I'm sorry, I was like trying not to laugh because you were saying something deep, but I'm like, the camera has its own personality. Like
like
there's an entity in your camera.
so creepy. I hate it. I need to change it. I don't know.
There's a setting somewhere where you
It's
tell
like
it to fuck off.
like doing it at the worst moments too, where it's like I'm trying to be serious and it's like and the drama, like fucking asshole. Okay, well, we've been going for like an hour, so I feel like we could wrap. Great talk. Loved it so much. We should do this more.
I know we were
I feel
saying
like we could have our
have
own
more
podcast.
conversations. I'm curious for people listening. Hi, nice to meet you. And I would love to know what people want to hear more of
Yeah.
and because this, I mean, obviously we did this, you invited me discussion style, but I'm just curious what's resonant for people. I know these are your people, but I just want to know.
Well, they're
So
going to be your people too, because they're going to listen.
yeah, and my people also. So what are the things that stood out? And please, we love to hear. We were laughing about people not actually like commenting on things and then writing us privately. I do get it. Some things people don't want to just put on the internet, like a
Yeah.
comment that's like, oh, I loved the part about talking about breastfeeding shame. Like some people wouldn't want to post that as a public comment,
Yeah.
but yeah, but just tell us privately if so, because I'm curious.
Me too. I mean, I do feel like with mine and Danny's show on Substack, like we do get a lot of comments. And I just feel like it's because Substack is such a different space. It just feels more contained. It feels more safe. It feels like people are going there because they really want to be there and they're not just there because they've been following you for all these years. Like I think that's
Right.
just, I feel like I talk about this so much, but it is interesting where that space of Instagram, we all existed there before the world changed so dramatically. And so there's a lot of dissonance in like the community because it's like kind of an older version. This is so fucking insane with this camera you guys are gonna see on YouTube. And it's like, I don't know what it's doing, but it's freaking me out. Um, but I think that moving into new spaces like Substack or wherever, even like YouTube, I think where I don't have community is will be an interesting kind of step in a new direction of attracting the alignment of people who want to share. And I also think that we're living in a new age now too, right? Where like community and coming together is more important than ever. So I would
Yeah,
hope that there would be feedback so that it's not just feedback, it can be more of a group conversation.
I agree. Will this go on Substack also?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Great. And I'll share it. And yeah, and if there are other pieces, we should go deeper on some other pieces. I feel
Yeah.
like we
I
just
mean, with the feedback, if people are like, I want you guys to talk about this, like we'll totally do
like
that.
one of the things we talk about in private is like health stuff and
Yeah.
like, you
Well, I didn't want
know,
to push you because I don't know how much you want to talk about that.
well, I mean, it's just, I'm just thinking even like our supplement choices. I feel like
Yeah.
we both like care a lot about the actual, holistic health side of things. So I love talking about that stuff with you. And I love talking about motherhood stuff with you too. But there's more. There'll always be more.
Yeah. There's always going to be more for two people who love to talk.
We love to talk. I know. All right. I should go, do other stuff and
Same.
take before I get back on mom duty.
Thank you so much for taking the time to sit with me.
That was so fun. I was looking forward to it. I was like, I have something good on my calendar
I
tomorrow.
love that. That makes me so happy.
Where I get to express myself and
Yes, she's an artist, people.
beyond the diapers and the nursing and the
Oh,
making.
look, and my baby's back too. Perfect timing.
Mine's hopefully sleeping. All right.
All right.
Well, talk
Lots of
soon.
love, babe. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.